the outline of the sub under the water in just a moment. Alright, here comes the sub in about 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Alright, there's Atlantis number 14. On one of its time. We're going to be pulling up to that sub first. It's going to be just a little bit rocky as we're making this turn here. So make sure you guys are hanging on to the handrails.
The bubble coming up and the submarine coming up.
Alright, so we're going to go tie up to the sub, and we have to get all of the passengers out of the submarine from last hour's tour. So if you're on the upper deck right now, we want you to stay up here, okay? Don't go downstairs until we call down your ticket color in about 5 or 6 minutes. Then we ask that you don't stand on those yellow marked areas next to the stairs, guys. Please don't stand on the island at all.
That's it.
Operational valves at 5261 with guys back, Allen, run straight.
Those two?
These two are ours.
28 after opening all vents. Now, here we go.
I don't want one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board the mighty Atlantis number 14. You guys here on the port side, looks like, I guess that's all the chairs. Everybody's all slid perfect. This hour is a live English tour. If you speak English, you do not need the headsets. Headsets are going to be for our foreign language guests. So we got Chinese on channel 0, ni hao, ni hao. RG, ling ting dao, xie xie. Channel 1 is Japanese, ohayou gozaimasu, hento honno, nihongo, ichichiban, arigatou gozaimasu. Channel 3 is Korean, annyeonghaseyo, Edusis-chan, oi-san, oi-san. Channel 4 is Spanish, hablo español, bienvenidos, cuatro, gracias. And channel 5, if you get bored with my live English narration, channel 5 is Kenny G. Feel free to listen. I think channel 6 is Justin Bieber, so you really don't have much of a choice. But show of hands, whose first time is it on the submarine? Almost all of you. Awesome. Welcome on board. You guys are not alone. Not at all. It is Captain Chris Cordio's graduation day. It is his first time driving the submarine solo. Let's give him a round of applause. We are very proud to have him. You do not have to worry. He is trained. Over the last 3 years, he's acquired over 11,675 hours logged on PlayStation 4. So we're good to go. All right. No, Captain Chris, he's been driving submarines for over 12 years. You guys got a veteran. Now, a couple things. As we're going underwater, I mentioned it's going to be a lot smoother once we get down past 35 feet. Anytime you want to know how deep we are, you guys can just look at the depth gauge. There's one up front here on the port side. The port side is the left-hand side of our pilot. So you guys on this side, you guys are all on the port side. The people on the side I'm standing on, we're going to refer to you as starboard. So the back of the submarine on the starboard side, you can see a second digital depth gauge. And we're going down pretty quick. I forgot to mention, if you haven't fastened your safety belts, do so. We're going to go underwater somewhere around 65 feet initially. You're correct, we don't have any. She gave me that look. You're right. I apologize. I just wanted to see who was paying attention. No safety belts. This submarine was built in 1993. Anybody take a guess how much this submarine cost? Any guesses? $2 million. Kind of close. Even more. Yeah, you're closer. $5 million. Anybody else? Higher? Lower? $7 million. 11 million, you're the closest. About $10 million. That's how much this submarine was in 1993. $10 million. It is the world's largest passenger submersible. Still has the Guinness World Record. Now, if we got this same type of submarine, because it's the only one of its kind, if we got the same type of this submarine built today, it would be over 14 million due to inflation. So yeah, pretty expensive ride. More expensive than any limousine you'll ever be in or whatnot. Maybe not as more expensive than a jet. But yeah, doesn't get these windows, these viewports we're looking out of. Just one viewport alone, $5,000. It's a 4-inch thick piece of compressed acrylic. And what I'm getting at, because it's 4 inches thick, if you're taking pictures, for better pictures, turn your flashes off. It's like taking a picture in a mirror. It just reflects your flash, obstructs your picture. If you take pictures of each other though, very important, if you take pictures of each other, you're more than welcome to flash each other as much as you'd like. Feel free to flash away. It is the Hawaiian Islands. Spread the aloha. You can flash me too. Alright, so right now we're traveling at a speed of 2.5 knots. That's the submarine's top speed. It translates to a warp speed of less than 3 miles per hour. Yes, our submarine's slow. Most of us can walk faster than a submarine. That's good though. Gives Captain Chris lots of time to maneuver out of the way of any large objects. He does some fancy piloting. We do call him a pilot. He pilots the submarine, doesn't captain the submarine, he pilots it. He's got 2 jog sticks, he's got vertical thrusters, bow thrusters. Yeah, he's got all kinds of goodies up here. No sonar screens though, no radar screens. He navigates completely off of visual guides. Now, the reason we're not seeing too many fish right here, this is our drop zone. We choose this area because it's pretty barren. If we ever came down too heavy, this is a good area for us to land. The submarine is equipped to land on the ocean floor. And so what we do is we come down to about 65 feet, then we motor away from Waikiki. That's where we have a 6-acre dive site. And within the 6-acre dive site, we actually have a lot of man-made artificial reefs. So that's what we're going to be seeing today is man-made structures that attract all the fish. And it's a very proactive tour. If you want to know what type of fish you're looking at, just open your dive logs to page 5, okay? Page 5 of your dive log, you'll see it has a really cool sushi menu. It's going to list most of the fish you'll see both in English and, of course, Hawaiian. And also, too, folks, and I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, I love to answer questions. So if you guys have questions, feel free to ask me. If you're in the back of the submarine, you can ask our co-pilot. He'll relay it to me over the headset. My job mainly for you guys is to give you guys a heads up of sharks, give you guys a heads up if there's any turtles, any dolphins, anything like that. Captain Chris is usually good at spotting them first and sees in the front. He lets me know and I let you guys know which side it's going to be on. But do you have a question? Life jackets for everybody, good question. Yes, do we have life jackets for everybody? Absolutely. It's actually located in this compartment right behind your back. There's a rebreather mask, there's life jacket, there's even water. Yeah, this submarine's fully equipped with all this. Oh, we're here. So we arrived to our dive site. Look out both sides of the submarine. Equal viewing tour. No need to break your neck and look out your neighbor's window behind you because they're looking at the exact same thing you are. These are called the Hawaiian pyramids. These pyramid structures were actually built by ancient Hawaiians over 20 years ago, back in 1988. Designed by the University of Hawaii Underwater Research Program. Oceanographer Frank Casiano designed these structures from the University of Hawaii. And what they are, like all of our structures we're going to see today, they're fish homes. So I'm going to let you guys have fun. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves. And I'll be back with you once we leave the Hawaiian pyramids. Mahalos. Hawaiian pyramid structures now. The structures we're going to see, they're all going to be different and they're all going to vary in size. So they're going to get larger and larger as we go throughout the tour. So the amount of marine life we see will also increase along with it. Now our next set of structures, since they are getting bigger, we're going to have to just put them on one side of the submarine first. But we'll do a U-turn afterwards. We'll come back for the opposite side. So our next set of structures, they're going to come over here on the left-hand side of our pilot, the port side. There's going to be 4 huge structures. They weigh about 30 tons apiece. They're called the Japanese reefs. They're also referred to as the Asahi reefs because they were built in Asahi, Japan. They actually originally were designed to grow seaweed for sushi over there. So they aggregate seaweed in these huge structures. Japan actually has thousands of them underwater offshore, and they're about 4 times larger than ours. Starboard side, since we have beautiful visibility today, you can see probably about 80 to 90, even 100 feet out. You're going to see a natural reef that we don't always get to view. It's called the Polyopono Ridge, and it means the Ridge of Life. Now you'll know when you're looking at it on starboard side because the ocean floor will start to rise. What is awesome about the Polyopono, a lot of moray eel live there. Our state fish, the Apua'a, lives there, along with over 44 different species of coral. So here we are, we're in between our natural reef and our man-made artificial reef structures. Too often, they're actually seasonal. There they go, brown in the front, green tail, kind of a dark red stripe at the very end of the tail. Now those are all females. They don't call parrotfish a school actually, because on average there's about 30 females to 1 male. And that's because all parrotfish start out in life, they're born as female. They're all born female. As they mature, the alpha female in the group will actually change her gender. She becomes the male of the group. Parrotfish are not the only ones with that ability. Over 40 different species of fish can do that. They can switch their genders back and forth, just like Caitlyn Jenner. But we're going to keep on passing by these structures. Keep a lookout for any big predators, any giant trevallies, knocking-ear dive logs, big gray fish, silver tiger striping on top. Once we're completely clear of our natural reef on starboard side, we'll make the U-turn. We'll come right back through and give everybody the opposite view. Any sharks today? Alright, I can make that happen, but I need a volunteer. Alright, we got one. We got some shark bait. Yeah, it's going to cost you an arm and leg. No, it is lunchtime. Most of our sharks are usually a little closer inshore, enjoying the international buffet this time of day, but we'll cross our fingers. We never know, never know. We most commonly see white-tip reef sharks out here. They're not that big, they're not that scary. They're actually not man-eaters. They prefer small children. But we hope, we'll cross the fingers. We're passing the Polyopona here. You can see a lot of that cauliflower coral growing on the ridge. Notice the color of it? It's not that bright, right? Yeah, it's not vibrant like we're used to seeing on National Geographic or Discovery Channel, Shark Week this week. You see all these really brightly colored coral heads. The reason for that, when they film those TV shows underwater, they actually bring huge underwater lights with them to recapture the color that's been lost. I know this for a fact. Myself and Captain Chris, we're rescue divers here at Atlantis. There's 3 of us. Another captain's on the surface right now standing by with scuba gear. So we switch out of the submarine throughout the day. And we actually had the National Geographic team come to our dive site many years ago and film that video they were showing on the Discovery boat. So they brought all those huge underwater lights with them. Water's 800 times more dense than air, so it naturally filters out the color spectrum within sunlight. As you get on deeper and deeper, you lose color the more deeper you go. Now, the very first color we lost today, was the color red. We lost red at about 35 feet. So if anybody has on a red t-shirt right now, you'll notice it looks more like a dark purple. Does anybody have a red t-shirt on that doesn't mind taking it off and passing it around to everybody?
They were pink.
Just kidding. If you're not wearing red, Orange next color to change, followed by yellow, and then past 90 feet we lose green, a little bit deeper we lose blues, indigos, and violets. We lose sunlight at about 600 feet. It's pitch black. On a microscopic level, we lose sunlight at 1,200 feet, twice that distance. So port side, you are now faced towards our natural ridge line, the Poliopono Ridge. That was all lava. Came right down the Mono Mountains, right through Waikiki. Limestone built on it, and coral polyps attaching group. Coral is actually a live, living animal. It starts off as a small, tiny animal called a polyp. Once it comes in contact with a rock-like surface or a very hard surface, it attaches, secretes calcium carbonate in the form of little little cups. It kind of builds upon those cups, creates an exoskeleton underneath itself. What's the water temperature right here? About 75 degrees year-round. Starboard side, here we are at the Asahi Reefs. Beautiful pendant butterfly fish. Yeah, I was mentioning before, because we're 75 degrees on average year-round, we don't grow much vegetation. Types of plankton in the world, and phytoplankton we don't have a lot of here in Hawaii because of the temperature of the water. But phytoplankton is very important to us as people. So 70% of our oxygen, 70% of the oxygen we breathe is human waters. Now, if you've been following along with your dive log on page 5, some of the fish that we've seen already is millet seed butterfly fish, the small little yellow fish, little tiny black circle in the tail. That's the fish with the zebra pattern out there. It has the long, skinny white dorsal fin on top, kind of a yellowish trim on the back of its tail. Almost looks like a Moorish idol, but Moorish idols have a black striped tail. Okay, we're gonna do a big turn right now to start. Turning, does anybody want to take a guess? And feel free to just shout out any answer. What's your guess? We want to take a guess how deep we can actually go down to? 150, good guess. Any other guesses? Alright, 6,000 feet, whoa. Before the pressure gets too strong, about 94 feet. 94 feet is the deepest in the sub. I'm joking. I'm totally joking. Good catch though, good catch. No, our maximum crush depth. This submarine is certified and pressure tested all the way down to 850 feet. That's how deep this submersible can go down to. Now the Coast Guard will not let us take you folks no deeper than 150. So whoever said 150, you're also sort of correct. We cannot take you any deeper than that because that's as deep as myself, Captain Chris, and Captain Andy on the surface can dive down to. If they ever need us rescue divers to do a manual surface, that's as deep as we can go. That's as deep as the submarine can go. What's a manual surface, you might be wondering? Outside the submarine, we have ballast tanks. So we have air ballast, which helps us go back up to the surface. We can actually manually, as scuba divers, swim around the submarine in a group of 2 and shut all those tanks, go to the front, communicate to the pilot that we're going to blow high pressure air into those shut tanks. Those shut tanks will fill up with air, so just like a scuba diver inflating their BCD, very positive in buoyancy, you go straight up. That's how we can get the submarine always back up on the surface. Now we're at 102 feet, folks. Congratulations. Less than 1/10 of 1% of the world's population has actually been down this deep. Very, very small percentage. We're gonna have an airplane. Mitsubishi YS-11 twin turboprop plane. There it is. We bought 2 airplanes back in 1990. We actually cleaned them up and sunk them underwater to become fish homes. 1991, Hawaii was struck by a Category 4 hurricane. Hurricane Iniki swept through the islands, picked up our 2 airplanes at 40 feet of ocean water, spun them around, tore them apart. That's why the airplanes are missing their bows and their tails, dragged them all the way out here. Now port side, we're not going to leave you folks out. Twin turboprop airplane coming up here on port side very shortly. We're at 109 feet. there's the hands. Gentlemen, if you're here with your kuipo, that's Hawaiian for sweetheart, turn to them, give them a big kiss, because it will undoubtedly be the deepest kiss you've ever given them. Yeah. And that corny moment was brought to you by Red Allen and Atlantis Submarines. You guys know what that giant fish is called? It's called a giant trevally. Giant trevally. In Hawaiian, we call that fish ulua. They get over 4 feet long. Biggest one ever caught, about 215 pounds. Razor sharp teeth, they can unhinge their jaw to eat pretty big fish. Very sought after by fishermen. Although the larger they are, they'll catch them for game fishing, but as far as eating, the bigger the trevallies are, the more worms their body accumulates. So bigger's not necessarily better for food. Okay, you see the depth gauge is starting to drop. Captain Chris is going to elevate our submarine. That's because our next structure stands very high off the ocean floor. It's a 185-foot long former United States Navy vessel called the YO-257. Now the YO stands for yard oiler. This ship we're going to view used to refuel other vessels and carry a lot of diesel fuel. Now the Korean War served in the Vietnam War, but eventually the manufacturing company discontinued making parts for this particular YO. So the Navy had to decommission it. Their original plan after decommissioning it was to blow it up. They were going to actually use it for target practice, drop it off the Marianas Islands into the Marianas Trench. It's the deepest trench in the world, 36,000 feet down. Yeah. Luckily for us though, they put it up for auction. We had the winning bid of 30 grand. So $30,000 bought us a 185-foot long former United States Navy vessel. We cleaned it up. It's coming here on the port side first. We cleaned it up. We spent about $300,000 to clean it, make sure it was environmentally friendly, get rid of all that diesel fuel and whatnot. Then we put it down. Now, if you're on port side, keep a lookout for turtles. If you see a turtle, shout out the Polynesian phrase of "chee-hoo," and we'll all look in your direction. Only if you see one, though. This area quite frequents Hawaiian green sea turtles. Honu in Hawaiian. Yeah, keep a lookout. Okay, we do got a very fragile species of fish occupying the vessel. White pyramid center, kind of orangish yellow around the body. They're called pyramid butterfly fish. Sinking these ships underwater, you gotta bring them out here on the barge, you gotta lower them via 4 tugboats, huge steel cables. To prep the ship, we had to weigh it down with thousands and thousands of pounds of gravel on the inside. Cut these huge squares on the side of the ship. That's actually to allow water to evenly flow through the vessel, helping more nutrients get to the coral and the fish. Here in Hawaii, out of the 600 different species of fish we have the largest concentration of endemic species on the planet. And that's just a big word that means they're local fish you can only find around our islands. You're not going to find them off of only here in Hawaii.
The purple.
Hey, you got some spotted pufferfish out there on starboard side. Look like giant turkey legs, brown and white spots. Even though they look incredibly hilarious when they use their defense mechanism to blow up to be about 3 to 5 times their size, it's extremely stressful on that fish's body. It's almost like having a stroke. They can only do it a certain amount of times throughout their lifetime. Swoop, turning to starboard. We got one more man-made artificial reef on our dive site. It's a second underwater ship. We're going to go visit a 111-foot-long former long-line fishing trawler that was built in Japan all the way back in the late 1930s. Pretty old fishing boat. Now, long-line fishing, that's where you stretch your lines out for miles. You actually have a hook. In the 1980s, it became not practical for that ship to continue that form of fishing because a lot of our sea animals became endangered or federally protected. You can't help what you catch when you just have hundreds of lines in the water with hooks every 20 feet. So because of huge fines and possible jail time, they switched from being a long-line fishing trawler to a cargo transporter. That became their new occupation. While transporting between islands. They were actually leaving Oahu. Captain and crew tried to extinguish the engine fire. No such luck. They didn't have enough fire extinguishing materials. As it spread, in their panic, they began to douse the fire with their cargo. The cargo they had that day, huge buckets of fish bait, 55-gallon drum barrels of soy sauce. Not effective at all. It burns. It made a huge mess, stuck to the deck of the ship. They ended up abandoning it. After they abandoned the San Pedro, they nicknamed it the Teriyaki Wreck because of all that burnt soy sauce. Now we're inshore of it, which means starboard side. You're going to have the first view. We're always got to stay down current of our ships. If you think of current as wind, we want to be on the side of these large objects where the current will push us away from them and not into them. Starboard side, we are coming up to the bow of the ship. We sunk this ship underwater 17 years ago. We sunk the one before this, the YO257, underwater about 26 years ago. There on starboard side. And you see that one, it looks like he's pooping sand. That's actually what he is pooping. Parrotfish, what they'll do is they'll prune coral. They'll actually eat the dead like a grinder, and they digest the coral nutrients that they can get on the other side. I know, it's weird, right? A ton of sand a year. That's just one parrotfish, one adult. Up to 1 ton of sand a year. Interesting thought, next time you're on Waikiki Beach, your feet are in the sand. Now you know where about 40% of that sand came from. Came from the backside of a parrotfish. No, actually that's not true. Waikiki Beach, believe it or not, it's not even Hawaiian sand. All that sand on Waikiki Beach, it's imported. It's from Santa Cruz in Australia. Yeah, originally, if you know the history of Waikiki, Waikiki was not a beachfront. It was all marshland. What they did was they dug out the Alawai. So you know the Alawai Canal behind all the hotels? They dug that out. All the dirt they used to dig it out, they built up constructed Waikiki. A man by the name of Dillingham started that project many years ago. He used the mosquito epidemic. There was malaria going around to get that started. Now, what was funny was, even though he got started off the malaria epidemic, he owned all those dirt rights. So it was actually a crucial business plan on his part. Yeah, Waikiki, completely marshland back in the day. No sand right there, not much. In fact, one of the most fertile areas on the island to grow plants and vegetation in ancient Hawaii. There was a lot of streams. They ran down through Manoa Mountains and went right through Waikiki, providing a lot of nutrients to that area. That was also where the biggest taro plantations were here on the island. They used to grow taro all throughout Waikiki. San Pedro. The steel that was used to construct this vessel, not as strong as the YO257. So even though the ship's a little bit younger in a way as far as how long it's been exposed to salt water, it's breaking down much faster. That's the goal of all of our man-made artificial reefs. Over time, they will break down, and coral will still keep on attaching and growing. It'll become more of a natural, like, structure. So as soon as the tail end of our submarine clears the bow of that ship, we're going to spin around. We're going to come back over to the Waikiki 257, do a second pass for everybody on the starboard side. Since we didn't see any turtles on top of the ship, I encourage you to keep looking down on the ocean floor. Usually if they're not on top of the ship, they're on the bottom somewhere. The reason they'll go to the bottom of the ocean floor is adult sea turtles. Once they reach about the age 25, they're vegetarians. So we do have a form of seaweed, what we call limu here in Hawaii, that hugs the ocean floor. It doesn't grow that tall. And turtles love to go down to the bottom and eat that stuff. They can actually hold their breath for about 4 hours at a time underwater. They do require oxygen, but 4 to 5 hours they can stay underwater. If it does come time to disembark, we kindly ask if you use the headset to hang the headset up just so it doesn't become a tripping hazard. As you can see, the aisleways are very narrow as people are leaving. Along with that too, we have no trash cans in the submarine, so we ask you to take your trash back over to the Discovery boat. They have a lot of trash cans there, or even your blue dive logs. If you decide you don't want to keep your dive log, when you go back on the Discovery boat, just hand it to Captain Jeff. He recycles them. Thank you. Surfacing spot. We're just waiting for our control team to be ready for us. As soon as they call, we'll send that big blast of high pressure air. It's going to make a huge noise up front of the submarine. escape, go straight up to the surface. Once he receives clearance, he shuts his vents because he's going to blow high pressure air again. He wants them to get all the air to get trapped.
Copy, set after clear to surface coming on up.
All right, 10 minutes after the hour, we are clear to surface. We're pumping high pressure air, filling those ballast tanks up. You can see our positive buoyancy is increasing. Should be on the surface, I'm going to say in about 15 seconds. Alright, we are back on the surface. Let's give Captain Chris a round of applause. Brought the submarine right side up today. I'm going to show you guys chairs. Go ahead and stand up. Watch your heads as you stand up. I'm going to get this ladder down, get the hatch well open for you folks. So I can drop the ladder. Come on, stay over there. Yep, right there's good. So right now it's a good time to look around yourselves, but chill. Small children. Guys, later on today, do not worry. You can find it tonight on eBay. Alright, ready to get some sunlight, some fresh air in here. Now remember folks, once again, when it comes time to disembark, port side's going to exit towards the back of the submarine, starboard side will exit towards the front of the submarine. So basically, if you're sitting down, face towards your window, we're all going to exit to our left. Alright. Our service crew members are here, they're pointing at the dolphins.